That was an absolute mess, and it's not over yet. So sometimes it doesn't matter how much you plan, things just go wrong. Like yesterday, perfect, or I should say this week, perfect time blocks, and then I found out that there was going to be more construction at the place we were at. And then last night, when I was just about done putting together the final presentation for this morning's recording session, the power went out for 4 hours. And at that point, I pretty much had a choice. I could either give up and say, you know what, F it. I'm just not gonna get these content videos done. Or I could find the one device that actually still had a charge, which was my iPad, whipped it out, and I spent an hour and a half, not gonna exaggerate, an hour and a half replying to YouTube comments. So I just wanted to share this with you because number one, things go wrong all the time, especially when you're traveling and you're in a new place. And then number two, sometimes you can't always make excuses for things happening to you. And just because things can go wrong doesn't necessarily mean that that should be an excuse not to plan. Because something that I've been looking at a lot of the videos I put together, especially on planning, and I'm just thinking of this top of mind because a lot of planning content's coming out, is just because life can happen doesn't mean you can't put together a plan. And even if that plan goes awry, like mine has, or you look at my time blocks, it's completely messed up. Thursday and Friday of this week is supposed to be a mirror of what Monday and today were supposed to look like, but they don't look like it at all. So just encouragement, you should still plan, and it's always better to change the plans that you have as opposed to just fly by the seat of your pants because you assume something's gonna go wrong. Hours later, all of the client work is done, and since I'm running on less than 6 hours of sleep and I need to wake up at 4:30 tomorrow for a couple of client meetings, I'm actually going to pause the vlog here, and tomorrow after I've fully recuperated, I'll show you how my project planning goes and how my days are supposed to look. So until then. And of course, in a vlog about project planning, my entire time blocks just got shot because number one, we lost power, then we lost a little bit of internet again, and then some things went wrong in some Google Ads accounts that I immediately had to fix and just drop the content because keeping clients happy does sometimes have to come first. Pretty much most of the time, but I digress. Let's go ahead, take a look at my goals and see what the project plan was supposed to be and how to create buffers so you're not completely out of luck when things inevitably go wrong. So in the last vlog, I went through in detail how we come up with our goals and this kind of 4-quadrant system and choosing 3 major things for each quadrant. So I'll link below to that. Here, I'm just going to go through a smaller version here so you can see how I actually prioritize the goals. So once we have our goals, then it's time to prioritize which one's most important, which one is the one thing. I don't know if that was obvious enough, but essentially what I do is the first 3 to 4 hours of my day, I'm actually up to the first 5, but the first 3 to 5 hours of my day are always blocked off for my one thing. And so that's how I approach my goal setting and my project planning. So if we go over to my calendar, what I do is, first of all, if there's any trips or family events or something else that I'm already obligated to, it's already on the calendar, so I just have to plan around it or try and move it if my one thing winds up being really, really important and urgent. And so the first thing I do is I go through and I just create an event as if it's the entire day that tells me what my one thing time is going to be for that day. So even though you can see the 7th, 8th, and then 10th and 11th says one content and then says whichever channel or medium I'm working on, that doesn't mean I'm doing it the entire day. That's just telling me, hey, my prime one thing hours for this day is going to be focused on this. And then I'll show you how I go through and figure out what I'm going to do with the other 3 to 5 hours of my day. And I essentially do that for all of the most important goals that I have. In this particular instance, for October is pretty much going to be consumed with content because that's my A1 and A2 goals. Then I move down to the B1 and B2 goals. And actually my B2 goal is the evergreen content that needs to be fixed in our email sequence. And so I'm actually going to do that before I complete my A2 goal, but that's simply because I can't do my video recording while I'm traveling because I'm going to be in Chiang Mai, Thailand for a week. It's going to make a lot more sense to work on a goal that doesn't involve trying to create content videos because recording on the road is a lot harder than most people think. And so then I went and looked at my B1 goal, which was actually creating, if we go back here, you can see I'm supposed to create a process for turning our YouTube content into blogs. And I was actually able to complete that the first week of October. The only reason I wound up doing that first is because by the time I was done project planning, it was Wednesday and I had 2 days of prime time to work. And so I decided to just squeeze that in there. So it's not always an exact science. And something I do want to note is I only plan up to 2 months in advance. So if you go to November, you can see not only do I have a buffer week here, but I've only planned out what I'm doing in my prime hours of the day. So when you see November 11th and 18th and 25th, that doesn't mean that's the only thing I'm working on. That just means my prime one thing hours one time. My prime one thing hours in the morning is going to be consumed with working towards that goal. And this is the simple yet powerful process I follow for project planning. And then on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, I'll actually go through and create my time blocks. So I'll quickly come in here and go to the week. So you can see this is how my week actually turned out. And in the mornings, both on Monday and Tuesday, I was able to record content despite the power outages and internet outages. And then because I didn't have anything pressing yet, I went and continued to work on my A1 and A2 goals for the rest of those days. Obviously Wednesday, I didn't get to work on as much because there was some client stuff, and Tuesday, some client stuff popped up in the afternoon. But when those things pop up, I have time to handle them because I've created buffers and I'm only planning the first half of my day. If I get to 12 or 11 o'clock and I still don't have anything urgent or there's nothing else that I had to plan for the week, then I can just keep working towards my A1 and A2 tasks until they're complete. So this is how you have structure, but you also have enough flexibility to get ahead on your projects or your goals, but also be able to absorb the impact of things that inevitably come in and change up how your week is going to look. So I sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. I'll link up in the description below to the previous vlog where I talk about how to actually put together your goals. And this is the simple process I follow for project planning. And even if you only have 2 or 3 hours in the morning, this is dramatically going to increase your productivity. I can't tell you how much of a relief and how much anxiety has been removed from working on my business as a result of just spending a few hours planning out what I'm going to do with the first 3 to 4 hours of my day for at least a month or 2. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and until the next, keep building the business you love.